In the fog-lit mountain village of Nurvale, ancient myths whispered through lantern smoke, and every child's shadow carried the essence of their spirit. Here lived a quiet boy named Rail, whose shadow behaved strangely. Sometimes it stretched longer than his height. Other times it pulsed with a faint silver light at moonrise. The elders called this the echo gift, but Rail never understood what it meant. He was too busy wishing he mattered, wishing he was popular like the performers in the grand square who made crowds cheer and merchants shout their names. Rail desperately wanted to be seen, to be important, to be someone people remembered, not just the quiet boy who blended into the cobblestone streets and market stalls. Then, the Festival of Wings arrived, an annual event where crowds filled the village center to celebrate rising stars. Rail tried everything he could think of to impress them. He juggled, he danced with fire, he even told jokes, but no one seemed to look his way. Their cheers flooded around the dazzling performers, leaving Rail's heart shrinking like a candle in the rain. It was in this moment, his lowest, that a traveler cloaked in twilight smoke approached him. He was a mysterious conjurer named Varos, whose eyes glimmered like mirrors and whose voice carried the tone of promises to easily believed. Varos told Rail he could grant him everything he wished for: fame, applause, glory. The price, the simplest thing imaginable: his shadow. Desperate to matter, Rail agreed before he even understood the weight of his answer. Varos summoned a swirling vortex of unlight that peeled Rail a shadow from the ground like lifting a piece of paper. The shadow writhed silently as if trying to cling to him, but then it was gone, swallowed by Varos's hands. Rail felt a sudden, cold emptiness spread through his ribs, as though a piece of his soul had been quietly removed. Almost instantly, the world changed. Crowds gasped at his performances. Children chanted his name. The elders called him destined. His voice, once quiet, was now strong and his movements brilliant. Fame flooded him like a rising sun, burning away every past moment of insignificance. Rail rose from an invisible boy to a beloved icon. His face was carved into festival lanterns. His name echoed across the valleys, and invitations to distant kingdoms arrived daily. He soaked in every cheer, every applause, every smile. But then, things started to unravel. One morning, Rail tried to remember a song he once loved, but couldn't recall its tune. Later, he failed to recognize his own childhood sketchbook. He even forgot why certain things used to make him happy, as though pieces of his memories were dissolving like sand between his fingers. Soon, he noticed that when he laughed, it felt hollow. When he cried, it felt distant, like a stranger's emotions echoing inside him. His reflection, though smiling, appeared unfamiliar, like a mask whose eyes were too empty. Rail finally realized the horrifying truth. Without his shadow, the anchor of his identity, he was slowly forgetting who he was. He was losing his essence piece by piece, while fame filled the void like smoke pretending to be light. In a panic, he fled the adoring crowds and ran to the old shrine of whispers atop Moonridge Peak, hoping someone could help him restore what he'd traded away. There, he found Elder Armina, the blind seer who saw truth not with her eyes, but with her spirit. She touched his trembling hands and told him that his shadow carried all the emotions he never admitted, the memories he guarded, and the strength he denied it was his true being. Varos, she explained, was no simple conjurer, but a collector of identities who fed on lost shadows, consuming the essence of those who traded themselves for empty illusions. Armina revealed that Rail's shadow was still alive, calling to him through the silver threads of the echo gift. It was trapped in the mirror sanctum beneath the veil, imprisoned with countless other shadows stolen from those who chased popularity at the cost of self. So Rail descended into the forgotten tunnels beneath the village, where mirrors formed shifting labyrinths. Each one reflected not his appearance, but versions of himself shaped by others' expectations. Rail the performer, Rail the hero, Rail the idol, Rail the puppet. Each mirror whispered, "Be what they want, not who you are." But Rail pushed forward, resisting the illusions that tried to seduce him back into his false fame. Finally, he reached the sanctum, a vast chamber shimmering with thousands of shadows chained to crystal pillars like fluttering, dark butterflies. In the center stood Varos, feeding on their essence, growing larger with every breath, his body swelling with stolen identities. When Rail approached, one shadow lifted its head. It was his own, recognizing him even though Rail barely recognized himself. Rail reached out, but his fingers passed right through it. A shadow does not return to someone who denies himself. Varos laughed and mocked him. You traded yourself for their applause. Why do you seek now what you abandoned? But Rail stepped forward and shouted, because I finally know the truth. I don't need their cheers to be real. For the first time, his voice carried genuine power, not borrowed flair. His shadow shivered, responding to him. Varros attacked, unleashing waves of illusions formed from Rael's deepest insecurities. Crowds mocking him, friends turning away, mirrors showing him as small and worthless. But Rael confronted each fear not with arrogance, but with acceptance. "I'm not perfect," he said, "but I'm me." With each declaration, the illusions shattered like glass, weakening Varros, whose strength relied on people denying themselves. Rael moved toward his shadow again, this time kneeling. He whispered, "I'm sorry for abandoning you. I forgot that you're the part of me that keeps me whole." With those words, the chains binding the shadow cracked, then burst into silver fragments. The shadow leaped onto Rael's feet like a returning heartbeat, merging into him with a surge of warmth. Every forgotten memory came rushing back. His childhood joys, his fears, his unique quirks, his true laughter, his real hopes. He was filled with a sense of wholeness he hadn't felt in years. Varros, deprived of his stolen essence, shrank into a wisp of smoke that dissolved into the mirrors, screaming as his illusions faded forever. When Rael emerged from the labyrinth, dawn was rising across Norvale. He walked through the village not as a celebrity, but simply as Rael, his shadow steady beneath him, his identity restored. The crowds no longer followed him, and fame no longer burned bright. But Rael felt lighter, freer, more alive. He had finally understood that popularity is a reflection others cast on you, but identity is the light you cast upon yourself. He spent his days expressing his true art, making genuine connections, and helping others resist temptations like the one Varros offered. He became not the brightest star in the village, but the truest one, and his legend echoed through generations. Never trade who you are for who the world wants you to be, because fame fades, but identity is forever. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and join our community. See you next time.